Welcome to Salsido Paranormal. I'm your host, James Salsido, and tonight I am continuing my review of the original Twilight Zone TV series. As always, you can find all episodes of the show along with links to social media, ways to listen to the show, and ways to support the show at the podcast website page. Old habits, hard to break sometimes. And that is salsidoparanormal.com. That's SALSIDO paranormal.com. And there you can find everything I just described. Also, please check out the episode descriptions for links to good friends of the show and their own projects. Of course, Jen, the Arcane Observer, for her own channel, and she's the co-host of this show, as well as Michael Strange and the Trouble Minds radio show and network, KUAP Digital Broadcasting, where you can hear amazing shows from amazing people 24/7. And I think that takes care of everything I wanted to get to. Trying to make these introductions shorter than they used to be. And so we are on to the last couple episodes of Season 2 of The Twilight Zone. We are on episode 28 of Season 2. And so this is about a situation that happens on a night in the middle of winter. There's a phone call from a frightened woman that talks about some kind of a unidentified flying object, UFO, that has gone through the sky, and then there's more reports of this, and so there's these two state troopers that verify that this happened. So these people, these two state troopers, Dan Perry and Bill Paget, they find that there's evidence of something having crashed in a frozen pond, and they find footsteps that have fled to a nearby restaurant called the Highway Cafe. And they get there and they find a bus parked outside. And inside the restaurant, this diner, they find the cook, Haley, but it's a guy, it's Haley, bus driver, Olmsted, and then his passengers. And there's, let's see here, 7 people along with the cook. And the troopers announced that there's maybe someone among them that doesn't belong, and who may have come from this crashed object, or the possible crashed object, even though they never found anything. And so they ask everyone to identify themselves, and so they do. They there's along with the bus driver and the cook, there's a dancer named Ethel, an old man named Avery, a businessman named Ross, and then 2 married couples. And so Olmsted says he was forced to stop the bus at the diner because of the snowstorm. And after that, they hear that the bridge that is ahead of the restaurant is not passable. And so the troopers tell the passengers they may have to wait until morning, because the bridge needs to be inspected by the county engineer. So they may need to wait until morning to go anywhere, until the bridge can be inspected to make sure it's safe. So, and that's when Olmsted, the bus driver, says he counted 6 passengers when everyone first boarded the bus. But the troopers point out that there's 7 passengers in the diner. And of course, Haley points out that the the diner, there we go, wrong word, was empty when the bus arrived. So the idea is there's someone there that is not, that is with them for unknown reasons. So Ethel suggests that the couples should be cleared from suspicion as the spouses know each other. And but this whole show is about everyone in this restaurant getting suspicious of everyone else and wondering if they're if any of them there might be something other than human because of this possible UFO, possibly have crashed, and having this extra person in the bus or in the diner. And so the eventually the bridge is declared to be safe enough, and everyone leaves. Ross comes back, the businessman, comes back alone and explains that the bridge collapsed and there were no survivors other than himself. And Haley asks how Ross survived, and he explains that everything that happened earlier. This is the other part of the show that is effects and everything. As everyone was talking earlier about what happened, I missed this part. There were the devices in the restaurant started acting in weird ways. The jukebox turned on its own. There was the phone rang, but no one there. And Ross explains that all these things happening, all these electronics malfunctioning, was because of him. And so he's sitting there in front of Haley, and as they're talking, a third arm comes out of the side of this man's coat, and of course the idea is that he was the alien. He was the sort of a spy. He was a scout that had come to check out Earth and make sure it was ready for an invasion by, of course, because this is of the times and everything, by Martians. And I forgot to even say the name of the episode. Pro podcaster here. This is and it's kind of funny I forgot to say the name of this show, because if I would have said it, then you would have known what was going to happen already. The name of the episode is "Will the Real Martian Please Stand Up?" So, anyway, now I lost my place because I had to scroll up. And so Ross is telling Haley all this, and that he's a scout for an alien invasion, Martian invasion. And Haley is at first acts like he's surprised, but then when he realizes there's no one else around, he takes off his cook's hat, and of course what is hiding is a third eye, because he is also an alien scout from another world. Of course, the TV show says he's from Venus, and he's been he and his other colonists have intercepted the Martian fleet. So this whole show is about this whole back and forth and planning and sort of massive battle plans that the Martians and Venusians have been carrying out without anyone on Earth, any humans on Earth, knowing what's going on. So, very well done, and of course, the show does really well with the whole sort of portraying the whole idea of like a witch hunt kind of a situation. This idea of there being one imposter among an entire group, and then taking that idea and making it more interesting by the end of the show. This is not the first time they've done that. They did that with another show in the first season, I believe. But of course, the circumstances are different. But it just the idea of this show is that if there are other beings here on the planet that have come from other places, they may be able to disguise themselves, which is, of course, an idea that has really gone forward throughout time and been used in movies, but also it's been proposed that it is possible in the real world. People have seen figures that appear to be different for a moment and then look like a regular person again. So there are parallels in a way between reports of experiences and, again, this TV show that came out in the early 60s. So it's always amazing how that happens. It makes me think of the Men in Black, the first movie, and then the cartoon series that came years later, where they had these glasses that could see aliens walking among humans, and disguised as humans. So anyway, neat show, neat episode, neat story, and execution and everything. And it's a lot better than my the mistakes I made in summarizing it here in this show. So I definitely recommend going in and watching that show if you can do that. So moving on to the last episode of season 2. Once I click on the link here, once I find the link here to click on it, there we go. So this episode is episode 29 of season 2 of the Twilight Zone, the original series, and it's called The Obsolete Man. And so this is a show about a society that has changed. It's a future in this future. It's a totalitarian state, and there is a trial that is held for this man named Romney Wordsworth, which is sort of ironic because turns out he's a librarian. He's brought led into this room with several people there standing around a table, and then two at the head of the table, one at a podium in back of the table, and then one sitting at the head of the table. And he is accused of being obsolete. His profession is not needed, which is, of course, terrifying because we kind of need information. We kind of need knowledge. And just as someone who's always loved books and everything, even though I only get to listen to them now, it's still pretty terrifying idea. And I'm not going to get into any kind of real world events that have gone on or maybe going on or will go on that have parallels to this because this is not the purpose of the show. But it's always amazing how these shows are made and they're based on ideas that resonate throughout time, the past and possibly the future. So, and of course, the punishment for choosing an obsolete profession is death, as the state has eliminated books. So, and is also his belief in a god, however you want to define that, is also taken for further proof of being obsolete, as the state has claims to have proven that such things as religious figures do not exist. And so the chancellor finds Wordsworth guilty and sentences him to death within 48 hours, but allows him to choose the method of his execution and exact time and place as well. So Wordsworth is asks that he be granted a personal assassin who will be the only one who knows the method of his death, and that this execution be televised across the nation, the state, from his room at midnight on the following day. At first, this is denied, but eventually the chancellor grants all these requests. And so at 11:15, the next night, the chancellor goes to Wordsworth. It goes to his room in this building, which you never really see outside of. You never see outside of a building. It all takes place in a massive building. And when he gets there, he finds that, of course, Wordsworth has a room, an apartment full of books. And so Wordsworth welcomes him in and closes the door and tells the chancellor that that he's chosen to die in a bomb explosion at midnight. And the chancellor approves of this, and then gets ready to leave, and then finds that the door is locked. And Wordsworth tells the chancellor that he is going to basically make the chancellor die with him for doing all this, for declaring that he is obsolete. And it's the idea also is to make the chancellor experience all the emotions of waiting for this execution, this death, along with him. And so Wordsworth goes on to sit and relax and quote religious scripture. And in the final minute before midnight, the chancellor, who was this whole time just insisting that Wordsworth open the door and let him go, of course, Wordsworth doesn't respond, and chancellor eventually breaks down in the last minute and asks to be let loose in the name of God. This religious figure, again, not meaning to be blasphemous here. This is a fictional story, TV show. So, but Wordsworth agrees to let him go and unlock the door, and the chancellor leaves the room just before the bomb explodes, killing Wordsworth. So chancellor escapes, but due to his actions, he's and of course allowing himself to think of there being anything outside of this state, the physical world and everything else, the chancellor is replaced by his own subordinate, the other man in charge that was right beneath him. And this chancellor, is declared to be obsolete because of his actions and his belief, even if it was only temporary. And he protests against this and tries to escape, but of course, the attendants at this trial end up closing in on him, and he still, in the end of the show, ends up dying. So it's a very dark show, but also deals with a lot of obvious themes and topics. There's not really a ton paranormal about it, except this idea that maybe there is something out there, and maybe in some cases it takes a major fear, major event, the threat of death, of being killed, to maybe make this person in this one example consider that there might be something other than just the physical world. Um, so yeah, I don't have a ton to say about that show. It's just other than the obvious social commentary on a lot of things, and that again, like I said, I don't really want to get into. But it's very well done, as I always say with all these shows. The season finales are always very well done. The production of everything and the story and all those things. The first season was also the same way. So I do like that they, in the series, they save some really intense stories for the season, sort of the season finales of each season so far, anyway, from what I've listened to. And yeah, so it was definitely recommend everyone check out the entire Twilight Zone series. And again, I'm this is just the end of season 2. I've started listening to season 3, so we'll get to that on the next one of these episodes and continue on with that. I am thinking of, as I've said before, reviewing the whole Stranger Things TV series. I do not think I will be done reviewing the Twilight Zone before the last season of Stranger Things comes out, because we still have 3 whole seasons to get through of the Twilight Zone. So there'll be plenty of time for Stranger Things to go through its last season before we get to start reviewing it. And I also recently just I'm finishing the audiobook for Dune. I might review that one. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, so that's basically it. There's other things that I'm not sure what other TV series I'll review next, or movies. Movies might be I might review some movies at some point. Maybe since I've already reviewed the Beetlejuice movies, I might review just the first Men in Black movie. Even though, I mean, a lot of people have seen it, but still, it could be fun to do that. I had thought about doing the X-Files, but there's so many shows, and I don't think all of them really fit the topics or the ideas of the show completely. Some of them are more into just I don't know, sort of conspiracy stuff, which is not a bad thing, but it's just not what I'm into in this show, unless it has to do with paranormal, supernatural, unexplainable things. So I don't know if I'll review that one or not, or if I'll just review certain episodes from it. We'll see when I get there. Also, everyone, please feel free to give me suggestions about what shows or movies you'd like to see reviewed. And if I can do that, I will eventually, once I get to them. So that's another reason I don't really want to review anything that's like 11 or more seasons long. So anyway, that's all the time we have for this episode. Thank you all for listening. And I will talk to you all next time on Salsido Paranormal. Take care.